Well, hello ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to Ian's Adventures once again in the great outdoors. Please remember to like, share and subscribe. Enjoy the video. Okay, so we've come over the top of the hill, and over here you can see the Sheffield area. Just over, all this over here in the distance is houses and buildings and such like, and that's the Sheffield area, but we're heading up there. Wait a minute, where am I going? We're heading up there. I can see some people walking down the path. I can see woodlands in the distance, so I'm going to be checking that out. I'll probably go up there, then kick left again and walk in sort of box shape. This is really, it's a beautiful area, this really is. And this area, bit of useless information for you, all this area up here during the Second World War was covered in wooden buildings, and they did that, Ministry of Defence, so that when the Germans came over, they would bomb this area and not Sheffield. They used to light it all up on an evening, so when they came over and they had the air raids, the Germans would think it was Sheffield and they'd bomb this. Right, so as you look down there, you could possibly just see it. There's a line of trees. Now between me and there, I would say to the end of this, about right at the end, it's just over a mile. So I'm going to walk down to there, unless I can find a route midway. I don't know this area. So I'm just going to head back out onto the moor, and I can see some large rock formations over there. So I'm going to aim at them. It's awkward showing you out on this camera because it's like a wide angle lens. So it's more difficult to show you, but I want to use this camera because it gives a larger aspect ratio, so you get to see the grandeur of the place. So I'm going to walk down here, head out back onto the moor. I found a path that runs adjacent to that. Does adjacent mean away from, or does it mean down the side of? Anyway, I found a path that runs away from that path. So it means I don't have to walk all the way to that wood and trees. And we're going straight out to some rocks in the middle of the moor. I wonder how many people by now, a few minutes in, have gone clickety clickety click and clicked off, because apparently on YouTube you've got to keep showing your face, because if you don't show your face and give information, apparently people get bored and clickety click onto something else. Let's see what our retention can be. Let's see how long I can hold people's attention on this adventure. I'll be looking at analytics when it's up. YouTube's amazing. Now maybe you can see this. The ground around here, because we've had warm weather, is dry on the surface, but it's actually bouncing underfoot, and that's because the ground is sodden underneath. This is proper peat bog out here when it gets really wet in winter. As there's some little bits of it over here. Here look, but it still stays all nasty and sloppy and slimy. And when I'm up here in the winter months, it gets really muddy. Oh, wait a minute. I better show you my face in case anybody gets bored. Right, where I am now, I've come up that path. Walked that long path, came up the side path, and I'm looking at the sun, east, west. I know if I want to get back to Burbage, I have to walk southerly through the sun's gateway. East, west, the sun's gateway from this hemisphere takes me south. Now I know over there is Stanage Edge. You probably can't see it, I don't know, but it's right down there, and it heads in a northwesterly direction. And behind you is a triangulation pillar I'm going to show you in a minute. Understanding how the sun works is a wonderful thing. And you can stick a stick in the ground and watch the movement of the shadow across the ground in order to be able to work out east to west, and then you can work out your north and your south, and you've got yourself a compass. But I don't advise anybody doing that and not taking a compass out into this wonderful environment until they've actually learned that. To a degree, and even then some places are a little bit dodgy. It all depends on what hemisphere you're in. If you're over in America and Canada, it's slightly different. at some point we're going to talk about maps. I'm not really going to teach you about maps, we're going to talk about maps, and I'll talk about the 3 norths, the grid north, true north, magnetic north and stuff like that, just in passing, we're not going to, you know, over reiterate on things. So yes, I'm going to go behind you now and go check them woods out because they look a bit old. I like old woods. Look at these. These are what I was aiming at. Aren't they beautiful, these rocks of time? Right, this is a triangulation pillar. I'm not going to tell you what they are because you can look them up. Anybody who wants to know what a triangulation pillar is, that's one. It's a big lump of concrete. That's pretty. Move onward. And so it appears that this plantation has been taken over. I don't know if it's like an official thing or what, but there's a lot of mountain bikers in there. And I found it by accident, and I was asking some people, and he tried to tell me where Burbage were, and he got it wrong. He got it wrong. He pointed at Stanage. So I put him right. That's nice of me. I'm polite like that. Well, I came across, I went down the side of that wood, fir wood, and I crossed the road, and I sort of headed northwest across to here, and now I'm going to be going over there, which will be Stanage Edge. Then we're going to walk up to Stanage Edge and bear left, and there's a wood down off the top of Stanage I want to check out if I get a chance. It's an enjoyable walk, this. Come across this is pretty cool. A little place to get out of the weather. Some little seats. I like this. I suppose sheep can come in here and all. So if you get a really strong wind blowing over the top of here, you just come and sit in here. Or, in honesty, it's probably for shooting grouse. But in my imagination, it's a place where dwarfs come and spend time together smoking long pipes, clay pipes. Dwarves and elves come together here to smoke pipes. You see, you can get a dwarf on there, an elf on there, and a pixie. No, it's like a pixie. That's like a pixie mushroom. So you got a pixie mushroom, your dwarf over there because it's like a dwarfen altar thing, and then you got your elf over here, and they will come and smoke pot pipes with the weeds of something. Cracking. Nothing to do with killing grouse whatsoever. Them lovely little grouse. So okay, we're heading over there now because that is Stanage Edge. So I already take this to map, letting how many miles I've done when I've done, and then you go over there right up to the top peak, and then it heads back down again towards Burbage. Now some of you people out there must be looking at this bag and thinking that's got to be uncomfortable, but in fact it's not. Now if I was to have a bad bag, this rucksack would be hell because it's got no waist support at all, none, and it just hangs on my back, but there's a nice gap between me and the bag, so I've got good airflow, so my back's not sweating so much, and I can hear the canvas creaking and all the little aluminium joints all crittling and crackling behind me as I'm walking, and it sounds wonderful, and it just sits down on my sacroiliacs joint, my spine. I love this rucksack. I think a lot of people have a problem getting lost because they can't see the paths. What I do is I sort of glaze over, and I can see there that the path continues up there and over. A lot of people lose the path because a lot of these paths out here on the moor are not used very often, and I can see, luckily for experience, I can see where the path goes, but a lot of people get mixed up with the paths and the ruts that are left by sheep, and you only have to wander off a little path like this slightly and you're in a world of trouble because you're going to be following sheep for miles. But I know where this is going. I love it. I'll be honest, this last half mile's been really gnarly. out on here. It's all like sods with heather, thick old heather, and you're just tripping over it all over the place. So it makes it hard work, but it's worth it. Right, we're now approaching Stanage Edge, and the only problem with Stanage Edge on a nice warm sunny day is there's too many people, human beings. I do like people, but not when I'm hot walking, so I'll be trying to find places. I'll be trying to find places where there's less people, and on Stanage, that's not going to be easy. Robin Hood's Cave's up here, by the way, cracking little place. But when you do get onto Stanage, the views are outstanding. All the way down the Hull Valley, and you can see over there the Edale Valley. Very, very beautiful indeed. And these down here where the midges live. They breed the beasts, and they'll come up and eat it alive as it starts to get dark. So here we arrive at Robin Hood's Cave. Well, I've slept 3 times now, but I slept in there, and I've slept on top of there, and both times it were great. And just over there is where Robin Hood apparently used to sit, but there's a lot of climbers, a lot of belay ropes and tape slings and all sorts of stuff up here from climbers today. Right, for first time on this walk, I'll have a drink of water. I run dry. I should drink a lot more water than I do, but I find the more I drink, the more I sweat, and I don't like sweating. So at the moment we're on Stanage Edge, and in a short while we're going to be heading back over to Burbage to a place that I know. Now this is the water container I'm using. It's a Camelback ultraviolet cleaner. And what that does, it doesn't kill the bugs, it sterilises them so that they can't reproduce in your digestive system. So that's clean water, I don't need to worry about that. But when that runs out, I'll basically filter water from the stream where I'll be into that and kill the and sterilise the bugs. Let's put that down there for a minute. I'm now going to try and show you the route I've done, but it's difficult. Because over this ridge here is a road that comes down the back of here. And over there, if you can see right in the distance, you'll see that there's a rock face. I'm trying to get you to focus because my fingers keep knocking focusing out. See a rock face, I walked right up there into this gully just there, and I walked over the top of that gully. Okay, so I got over the top of the gully, right over the top of the hill. And then it continues round, right over to there, and that's where I said the BMX track thing was. That little bit just there, alright? And then I headed left and I came over the road. The road is just at the end of there. The end, God, my finger keeps knocking focus out to there. And then I headed over the top of that hill. I'm at the back of the hill now. And then as it goes back over the top of that hill, I appeared again, just there, and came over here, alright? And I've walked over there, this gully now. This area here in the middle ground just here is heavily boggy, right? And I could see the trees on my right hand side. There's a farm right over there. And I came over all these hills here, followed it all the way over, right over to Stanage Edge, over there, right down the far end. So at the middle of Stanage Edge, I'd say. And then headed back up here to the top. About there-ish is where I had my drink of water. I've walked all the way back down here. We're going from here, we're going to walk down here, across there, back down, over the road, down into the gully, and down there is where there's a small wood, and that's where we're going to be spending the night. Sorry, I'm lying. It's over there. It's over there. So I'll be walking down here, but I'll be going over there and then down into the wood where I'll be spending night tonight. So there we have camp for tonight. So now we're heading to the woodland, which is almost all fern, but it's all falling down because the ground's rotten. But it's not rotten. The ground is very damp. Here we have the campsite that somebody else has used, and they've created a fire space just here. Right, what happened with this? I got here, I had signal on my phone, everything were hunky-dory. I started putting my fire together, I got everything all hung up and everything were all cracking, and then I realised my signal on my phone had disappeared. So now I've got to wander off again and find another location where I can set up some kind of little camp. No matter what it is, it doesn't matter where I am, I don't mind, I enjoy it anyway. So I can have signal so I can get in contact with Lucy, or she can get in contact with me if it's an emergency. Because for me at the minute, that's important. So bag back on, cast that fire asunder a touch, never used it, and off we go onto Heather Hill. Up we go. I'd actually already been over here, across the stream, the sheep and a bull. In fact, I think some more bulls. It was very nice. It came up and said hello to me, and I gave it a stroke on its forehead and it nodded at me a lot. But it was nice, it was cracking. Hello sheep. Hello, you alright? Oh, are we off? Wait a minute, whoa, that sheep's got an entire branch stuck to it. And I want to help it, but it's running away from me. Not all I can do there, sheep. Right, I've just come across this place. It looks idyllic. It's beautiful around me. There's a lot of fallen trees and stuff. Somebody's built a windstop. They've got a store of wood, a surround. They've had a fire. It's a bit big for my liking, if I'm going to be honest. That shouldn't have really happened. I would have had something tiny just to cook food on, and I mean tiny, using my multi-fuel stove. And there's this felled tree that they can sit on and all that business, and it looks really nice, and they've left no rubbish. Can't find any rubbish anywhere. Only problem is there's a stream bed there and all this damp material all around, like little swamp areas, and already it's only just gone 4 o'clock and it's dreadful for midges already. Anybody who stops, probably why they left, in honesty. There's just too many midges. When it gets midgy like this, what you need to have airflow around you. The last place I was at wasn't too bad. It wasn't nowhere near any immediate water source. Although there was a stream away, so I could get me water, but it wasn't too many midges. Here is horrendous, so no, I'll not be stopping here. There's even all these little bits of wood and stuff you can use to prepare, not prepare food on, but to use as areas to cook on and such like. But I'm going to be heading up onto the tops up there, hoping there's a bit of wind flow later on, and I'll be able to keep the midges blowing away. They don't like areas where there's any wind to blow them around. They like stagnant areas where they can breed and just flutter around. To stop here tonight, I would be in my bivvy bag with my mosquito net open all night. I won't be able to get out of it. Some people might find this interesting. All these holes in all these rocks. And there's loads over there as well on that one. In fact, there's lots on all of them. Because this place used to be a place where like a firing range, where they used to come out and exercise. American and Canadian troops during the Second World War, training to go into mainland Europe. There's also strange splatter marks, especially up on top of hills up there, Colwalk Hill. And they are mortar rounds. And if you look down here, see a piece of woodland. The reason they can't take that woodland out is because there's so many munitions in there, it's totally unstable. It's too dangerous to go in there and remove those trees. Interesting, probably pointless information from me again. When I'm heading now, up there, there's a small quarry, and I think that's going to be my home for tonight because it's high enough on the hill to keep all the midges off with the breeze, hopefully, and it's not too far away from the water source at the bottom, but I also know there's a couple of streams running down here along the way, and it's secluded and out of the way as I like it. And as it goes quiet later on and all these interested people go back to their homes, I will have the luxury of spending time alone here because I absolutely love this place. Can you hear that bird? That's Ace. Look at all these blasting. This is where they put the dynamite in to blast all these blocks out of this quarry to make stone mills, millstones. I'll show you one. I'll show you this one up here. There you go. Oh, they're beautiful. I don't know what bird it is, it's absolutely gorgeous. I hope he stays with me. I love to hear birds song, especially in the evenings you're going to sleep. Oh, look at all these millstones. I used to come climbing here when I was younger. It's a really good climbing spot. It's not as popular now as it used to be. So this is our final place. Oh look, there's two. One there and one there. So I don't have to make a fireplace. I'm going to tidy them up before I go. You'll not be able to tell they've even been there. But I'm going to use this one. I'm only having a tiny little fire just to cook my food. So this is really a beautiful place. Even though it's man-made because it's been quarried, but how awesome is that? And the view out there over that hill is phenomenal. Let's go and have a look. Let me go and take you. Come with me. You have no idea how long this video is going to be. I've had an absolutely belting walk today. I've gone to places I don't, you know, when I used to work at Parson House Farm for a while, and I worked all over this area. But there's places you just don't go to because you don't need to. So it's been nice to go to some of those places. And there's my view from the top of the hill. You can't knock that. That hasn't changed much in many, many thousands and thousands and thousands of years. Apart from ice cream van at the top of the hill. Okay, so here we've got a water source. Is it clean? I don't know. I don't trust what's in it. So I'm going to clean the water and I'll show you how I'll do that. And just put it back onto there, that's it. Right, in all this. Okay. Right, so there I've got my Camelback. Uses ultraviolet light to stop the bacteria and germs from reproducing. I've drunk my water. I don't drink a lot of water, but on this occasion I've had to because I've walked too far. Stay with me. This is my survival straw, all held together with a rubber band. I'll just put that safe. I can use it, I know you can't see me. I can use this straw to just drink straight out the water with that. I'll basically just put that straw on the end of there and I can drink that water. In fact, we'll do that right now. Put this bag there somewhere. I don't know what's in this water, but I'm willing to use this to drink straight out of the water. So I'm happy to do that because it's filtered all the bad stuff out. But generally I want to be more careful. So I can pull this off. This mouthpiece can be pulled off. I'll put that very safe. And I can fill this bag up and I'll take the straw off too. And I'm going to fill this bag up. This is a 1 litre bag. Fill the bag up. There she goes. Got to put this on the other end. Just screw it on. And it looks like that. And that water can be squeezed through. And I'm going to squeeze that straight into my bottle. And then I'm going to use the ultraviolet, kill any excess germs which happen to be there. It takes a while. It takes a while for soya filters. So there you go, that's done. Now on the top is a button. If I press that button, it's now counting down. And that will put ultraviolet light into there for 60 seconds. It'll cause all the germs and bugs and everything there to be unable to reproduce. So I know that that water is clear and nice and clear to use. It says microbiological UV water purifier. So I know that's clean water, I'm good with that. The next step is to fill the bottle back up so that once I get back, I can take my survival straw. Once I get back, I can boil the water as well. So it's been filtered through the survival straw, which I'll clean out when I get back. It'll get filtered with the UV filter, and then it will be boiled for my drinks. That's clean water. That bird was nice when I first came. You know when you get a nice person in a room and eventually they become a bit obnoxious and start to get on you. All right, I've heard enough now. We've heard it. All right. He just flies over there, then comes back again. Right, it's time for dinner. There might be a little bit of smoke, but not too much, because it's only a tiny little fire. And it is in a controlled environment. We're inside this quarry, so it's all good. So, come round here and have a look. It's time for it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of this foil off here. I don't even want to burn this. It's already been burned, but it's not going to be burned by my burn, if that makes sense. So inside here we've got some birch bark, which I've brought. I'm going to break that up. There's a little bit of a breeze, so I'm just being careful that I don't let all this stuff blow away. Keep that there. I'm going to keep that for future reference. Another piece of birch bark just there. And I'm going to make sure that there's nothing in that little doorway there which is going to slow me up. Alright. Right. Fat wood on this occasion, ladies and gentlemen. So scrape some filings of fat wood in there. There we go. That's smashing. And then I'm going to scrape some dust in. There we go. Then I put this beautiful fat wood there, and I put my tinder box out of the way because we don't want any accidents. Scrape some of that off. And I'm also going to do this, get some of this and put this inside here. I think that nice big lumpy bit there, that needs to go inside there, just to move things along. That makes sense. Right, so we've got all this stuff here. All I'm going to do is hit that with a spark. Bit pedantic, my fire steel. Get some dust in. Not letting me do dust. Here we go, we're off. We're already off, ladies and gentlemen. Just a few pops with a popper. Start emptying that into there. She goes. Right, while that's just ticking over, I'm going to put some coconut oil in my pan. I like to have coconut oil in my coffee and all on occasion because the good fats, I don't mean it's low calorie, I mean it's good fats, and good fats replace bad fats. Get that in there, and I put that next to it, and the temperature of the fire will actually start to melt that, because this melts at a normal standard room temperature. Put that just there. First thing I'm doing is getting a coffee on. Looks a bit like cat wee, but it's definitely clean. Boiling away, smashing. Melt. This is a tool steel skillet, small pan. Let that melt. that over there. It's boiling up, so let that cool down a bit. And down here I've got my, I'll show you, let's put this away. Here I've got my tomatoes and onion and mushrooms, and I'm going to cut them up and drop them in that pan. Well, onions are going in first. Right, so we've got all that. Well, we haven't got tomato in, I'm just doing the onions and the mushrooms to start with. I'll show you that. And then I'll put my steak in. But I'll have to put these back in the foil when I put the steak in. Oh, a bit more onion there, I love the onions. Alright, and that'll keep it warm once I've rolled it in that foil. I can cook my steak, and then I'll load the foil up and put my steak in, and then I'll do my curry, and then I'll just pop it all back in and warm it back up again. Cooking him a bit fast because this fire's a bit hot, but it's got the desired effect. Burnt my pan a bit, not the best chef in the world. Okay guys, so there you have it, just warm it up slightly. There's a lot of food there, that's really going to keep me going overnight. Check that out, a pan full, top nice. Right, taste test. See what we got. That curry's really nice, but I've had that before. Everything else has turned out lovely. Onions are lovely. I can cut steak with a spoon. That's very nice. I think part of the beauty of this and all is I can sit here. Start again. I think one of the beauties of this is that I can stand here. I'm not sitting, am I? I can stand here and look at the sky. A little bit darker than what you can see from what I can tell, but it's really, really beautiful with you get that sort of rose colour and purples as it goes down over the top of the hills. Eating my dinner. That's what it's all about. Freedom. Before I move to the next place, I'll just show you that I've not left any mess. That is a better fireplace than what was here when I got here. There were two fireplaces and they were disgusting. I've got rid of all the ash and everything that was in there. I've discarded all the wood that I collected. So basically, I'm going to take my bag, myself, and this wonderful ball that I found. I found a ball. That's absolutely cracking. And my cup. Just finished my coffee. And I've doused that out. I've got 2 litres of water. I've poured the other litre that I'm not going to use onto the fire, so it totally doused, emptied my little burner out, and that's all packed away in my bag. And I'm now going to go up there. By the way, the midges are back with an absolute vengeance, so I'm going to get in that bivvy bag as quick as I can. See you in a minute. Right guys, you can probably see them. The bugs are swarming. So I'm going to bid you good night, and I'll see you in the morning. Jeez. They're swarming. Right, I'm inside here now, and I'm just hoping, I'm hoping a million that come in with me, but the light drew them in. That were bad. Midges, it's one of the things that spoil being outdoors. Oh, just when I was packing stuff away, it just got absolutely insane. Oh, get off, baby, something. I could do with some kind of smoke in here. I've got stuff on, I've got jungle treatment on and all. They didn't care, they like it. Right, I'm going to try and get some sleep. Night night. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and my little friendly midges. They're not as bad, but they're here. I've got proper bedhead. Slept for a good few hours. One issue you'll find with a one-man bivvy bag such as this is that you get a condensation that builds up on the inside. So I'm going to get up and lay my sleeping bag out. I can dry it when I get home anyway. But this has worked lovely all night last night. Been cracking. So I'm going to get up and I'm going to get myself a drink. I don't do breakfast, not unless I'm doing multiple day walks. And I'm going to start heading back. The time now is, I hate zips. The time is now 5:30 in the morning and the sun's coming up over that hill and it's beautiful. You can see the aeroplanes going over being reflected, like little stars as they go over, as the light hits the side of the fuselage. So, upward and onward. Today's another adventure. Slightly different one in many ways, but every day's an adventure. But thank you very much for watching. I'm going to walk off now with this wonderful football that I found. I've no idea how old it is. I found it in a hole. If it's yours, give a shout. I'm on Instagram. I'll put my Instagram details below. While I'm out on my wild camps, my adventures, or out and about generally doing stuff, I will post stuff to Instagram. So I'll put that details below. Thank you very much for watching. Well done if you got past the first 8 seconds. That was quite funny. Bonkers, isn't it? That people will only sort of browse around for 8 seconds and then move on. Well, it's goodbye from me here on Burbage in the Peak District National Park. And from, well, we did this walk over there on Stanwich as well. I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now. Bye.